Hey guys, what's going on? This is Lone coming at you with a guide on how to go through my pyramid monument. I'm going to try to keep this video as short as I can, so I did speed up some of the process of this. So if it's hard to follow along, just please pause the video. But here we go. So walking right into the pyramid, you can tell that you have three entryways. There's not a right or wrong answer of which one you'd like to start with. I'm just going to kind of show you which way I choose. There are hidden doors and hidden passageways within the pyramid, one of them being in this coffin right here. You're going to drop down into some water, where it's going to have a little snarky comment saying I told you to watch your step. This area is required to go to. You will need to go through this, so it's not like a trap or anything. Among my pyramid, there are 5 total switches. They look something like this with a symbol above them. These will be important for later on. Make sure each room that you go to, or anywhere around the pyramid, you find all of these switches, with the exception of this one right here. This one is merely a trap, not important at all, other than just to trap yourself. So this little area right here that I dropped down into is like the centralized, I call it elevator. It brings you back to this main corridor. So you're going to go back to where we started, and then you're going to go back up the staircases. This is going to lead to the next puzzle room, where you just press the button to open up the door. This one is primarily a parkour room, so you're going to have to take your time, figure out the jumps. All of the doors are randomized, so if they're not acting in your favor, just wait a little bit, and you should be able to jump across. For the Teslas, these are on a timer, so you just have to wait them out. This little area that I'm in right now, you cannot skip this. I do have invisible barriers, so it will prevent you from jumping up into that middle area. So you can try if you want to. Be careful on the parkour, there are spikes on the ground. And here is the second switch, which is the little cross symbol. You just push the button and leave. The next room, there is no visual button or way of opening the door. To open the door, you come across the corner of the room and press the button that I just did. This maze is kind of tricky, so you might want to have to rewatch this area just a little bit. The maze itself is not very big, so once you go through it a couple times, you'll learn it pretty quick. In a couple of the areas I did add some loot spawns. Once you run through it and figure it out, somewhere in the pyramid there is a switch. Similar to the other ones that you pressed, it will have a symbol above it that you'll want to activate. Going through the pyramid, I do want to show you this room right here, which is optional, but first I want to show you the very end room of the maze. This is the end of the maze. It just brings you into a little hallway, and we'll come back to that here in just a moment. This room is the optional one. It's just a little puzzle where you press the button, it opens up the doors, which will last 30 seconds. If you don't make it across this climb rope within 30 seconds, the doors will shut, and you will be forced to climb back and press the button again for a second attempt. There is loot at the very end of that as well. At the very end, you run through this little tunnel, and it's going to bring you right to the very end of the maze where we were just a moment ago. So you go back into the tunnel, and it's going to bring you to that centralized elevator system. So you're going to drop down, watch your step. You will crack your legs if you try to go through it too quickly. The next room I go through will require 2 people. Cannot do this solo. One person needs to spin this wheel, the other person needs to run inside and press the button. That's the first step. The second one, you will have to head boost your buddy inside of the gated area. Press that button, as well as that one at the same time, or close to the same time, and it will open up the door. The next one is another head jump, where you'll boost your partner into this room. You'll press the button, and it will open up the next door. This area has pretty decent loot in it. And you can also press this button on this door, which leads to the next hidden area. In this room, we'll have a red card reader, because Egyptians had electricity. Once you swipe your red card, there is a hidden passageway behind the loot if you climb over these boxes. This area will have an elite crate, 2 green crates, as well as a switch and a toolbox. Switch is important again, just like all the other ones, because it's going to be relative towards the very end. So you and your partner can make your way out of here. by pressing the buttons and just jumping back through. This cipher legend is very important. You might want to take a screenshot of it, but I will have it up on the video here in just a moment. This next room is a parkour room, which is one of the more easier ones in my opinion, but it does have a switch underneath the staircase leading up in case you fall down. Make sure you switch that before you cross it. Some of these jumps are a little tricky if it's your first time, and I had like a little Tomb Raider style wall climb there, but just be careful. In order to proceed through that door right there, you do have to press the button that's on the wall over here. That way you can't skip through. So you go over there, press the button, climb over here, and then you have your loot. Open up the door and head out. It's going to bring you back to the main hallway, which you can take a right, and this will require two people to press the button at the exact same time, and it will open up a bridge. It will lead you to the final area of the pyramid. Now, there are three stories, the first one being where I just was, the second one being up here. This room is very important because it has a cipher code 7325. I marked on the little legend at the bottom of the screen so you know what numbers corresponds to what symbol. It is important for this room right here, which is the very final puzzle room. Earlier where it says do not trust the lights, that's relative towards this room. The lights mean nothing. I did that just to be a distraction basically. But you press the corresponding buttons with the numbers that are on the hint down in the floor below, and the final loot room is opened. Just for testing purposes, if you wanted to, you can press one of the other buttons and it will zap you. So if you do it wrong, you will get zapped. Once you're in the final loot room, the door will close behind you. The only way out is by pushing the button on the wall and going through the super secret little vine door. It's a one-way system, so you just keep going, and then you're back in the centralized elevator area. Now you're pretty much done with the pyramid. You can make your way out and enjoy your loot. Thanks, guys.